Oh, oh man. Um, it truly is amazing that North Carolina is a top 20 recruiter in football. Uh, because they don't win, but they can get players. It's a beautiful area. Maybe they recruit to their basketball. Maybe they just say, "Hey, do you want to come watch awesome hoops?" They finally hired Roy Williams. He won 4 championships. Hubert Davis, I think, is going to do well. I mean, he went to the national championship game in his first year. I was down at the Final Four in New Orleans a couple of years ago when he beat Mike Krzyzewski in Krzyzewski's last game in the semifinals of the Final Four, and then he lost to Kansas and Bill Self. But North Carolina is a dream job, football wise. Y'all know that they care about basketball. They live it. Eat, sleep, breathe, all that. And Bubba Cunningham is their athletic director. I fully expect him to screw this up because he's been a disaster. But they got Roy. Again, all he had to do, I mean, I've talked about this, all he had to do is make sure Roy Williams was good.
Right.
Make sure the Danishes, the cinnamon rolls, and the coffee, and there was new paint, new chairs in the UNC basketball offices, and everything else was good. I mean, he's tripped over himself 47 times, not that many times, but in 22 years in football, and they don't care. But they sign good players. They're huge. They have a ton of money. They're in a beautiful area. Y'all all know this. They check all the boxes. They don't care about football. If you hire Dan Mullen, Jackson mentioned Arthur Smith. He's the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. He was the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. He spent a year at Ole Miss. I did not realize that. He was on, he got out of there fast. It was when Houston Dale Nutt was spiraling, down. I mean, Houston Dale, man, those first 2 years out of the gate was on a roll. And then Dan Mullen beat him in year 2 at the last game of the year, and he never got his mojo back. Back to Bubba Cunningham, athletic director at North Carolina. It's a great job. You just win a few ball games, and you make sure that you give your parking spot to Hubert Davis, the head basketball coach, and whatever he needs, you give him, and you can stay and make a ton of money. I mean, they kept Larry Fedora for years, and he was slap underachieving, and they didn't care because during that time, Roy was winning.
Yeah, buddy.
Roy was winning. He had what was her name? The Hansborough?
Oh, man. Tyler.
Hansborough. Yeah, Hansborough. Because Ben went to Mississippi State before transferring to Notre Dame. But, I mean, he had a bunch of players.
Oh, yeah.
Roy did. Give Roy credit. He spent 15 years at Kansas, couldn't win it. It's hard to win. He couldn't win it at Kansas as the head. He left Dean Smith's nest. And he was Dean Smith's right hand. He was the lead recruiter on Michael Jordan. He goes to Kansas, and they won a ton. Went to Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, Final Fours. Couldn't win it. Gets hired. Who did they hire? Guthridge, I know, because Dean Smith did that on purpose. He stepped down 3 weeks before the season so that they had to hire his friend and top assistant Guthridge. That didn't work. Didn't they? Then I think they hired Buzz Peterson.
That's funny.
Is that right? Michael Jordan's roommate or something? And that didn't work. And then they finally, somebody, it takes an alum because administrators will trip over their you-know-what forever, a la Bubba Cunningham. But somebody walked in and said, guys, we're not doing this anymore. It's over. And this is what we're going to do. And it's probably going to take that at Mississippi State. But what happened at Alabama? That I can't remember his name from Birmingham. He's a very low-key guy. He's not one that wants you to know that he's a top 5 donor. But he finally, he sat down Mal Moore one day and he said, look, you're running this like romper room. Okay? This is like a K4 birthday party where the cupcakes are all over the wall. Y'all have tripped over yourselves for the last 4 hires. We're Alabama football. Get back on the plane, fly down there, and go tell Nick Saban he is going to be the coach. Terry Saban doesn't want to be down there in South Beach. Yes, sir. He went on a plane. He went down. He got it. Somebody at North Carolina finally grabbed somebody else and said, you're going to sit down. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to fly to Lawrence, Kansas, and you're going to hire Roy Williams. And that's it. And if you don't come back on the private plane with Roy, then you can just stay in Lawrence and see if you like it. Maybe there's a lake over there that you can live on. That's the deal. You have to decide if you want to win. Because for the most part, athletic administrators are going to make poor hires. The overwhelming majority of them could not make it in the private sector. Good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. And y'all heard me talking about ribs yesterday. I need to tell you about some of the most underrated ribs in the state of Mississippi. They're at Burgers Blues Barbecue, Dogwood Flowwood, Burgers Blues Barbecue. Their ribs are amazing. Also in Madison and Brandon. Okay, now, they smoke everything on site. So when you get that brisket, like Jackson went nuts when we got that brisket with scrambled eggs that morning. He couldn't believe it. Changed his life.
I mean.
Okay? Their pulled pork nachos are sinful in a good way. So Burgers Blues Barbecue, their ribs are amazing. So if you don't just want turkey and ham for like 3 days, go ahead and get you a slab or two of ribs from Burgers Blues Barbecue, Dogwood Flowwood. They're on the south side of Lakeland /25. Now, look, they've got amazing onion rings and fried pickles and pulled pork nachos. They'll have a blue plate today, and they've got a burger of the month, and all that's amazing, too. In Dogwood Flowwood, they got a full bar and an outside area that he can keep it pretty temperature controlled because it's covered and everything. So it's sweet. Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, Dogwood Flowwood. Open for breakfast, too. Honey butter chicken biscuit, brisket and scrambled eggs, chicken and waffles. Anybody hungry? I am. That's what I'm thinking with North Carolina, Jackson. I got Dan Mullen. You mentioned Arthur Smith, North Carolina grad. I don't know if he's the best fit, but I mean his resume's good.
Sure.
You know,
I'm just assuming Dan turns it down.
No, I don't think Dan will turn this one down.
No.
I actually believe that Dan, if offered, will take this job.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's his deal. I mean, that's his fit.
I think Dan knows this job is so plush and so good, and North Carolina recruits itself in football. They're a top 20 recruiter in football.
That's absurd. Like,
they shouldn't out-recruit. They recruit right around where Ole Miss is, a little bit better, which is insane.
What?
But Ole Miss has been on number 20 for years, and that's a good spot.
Yeah.
I mean, they may move into the teens. We'll see. They've threatened at times with Freeze, and they may do it with Lane. They should not out-recruit Mississippi State or Arkansas. Those are two schools that, well, I say this, for the most part, want to win more than North Carolina. Obviously, MSU has lost their mind post-Mullen, and somebody needs to find it and get it right. Of course, their fan base also has to decide, as I've said, if they want to win. They like the idea of winning. If you want to win, then, you're going to have to give to, you sent Charlie Winfield into a nuclear war with a butter knife, and that just doesn't work.
Nah.
It doesn't. It's like telling me that Ukraine is going to beat Russia. They're not. That's dumb. There is no war. It's just a money grab. So the point is that you got to decide if you want to win. And you need to run your football program like you run your basketball program. You need to be ruthless and relentless. Instead, you run around worrying about getting in trouble. Well, there are no rules anymore.
Trouble.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. throw the gloves off, and go make it happen. It's a street fight. You're in the SEC. If not, you're going to be in the Sun Belt. You got to decide if you want to win and commit to winning on campus and the alumni base. And again, you pearl clutched over NIL, and I don't like it. Well, how do you like it now?
Right.
You're 2-10. You know, your rival's rolling. Bama's never going anywhere. LSU's not going anywhere. Georgia's not, is a power. Tennessee got their mojo back. A&M's got an adult. Elko's a dude. Auburn, I know people have enjoyed it, especially Ole Miss fans. Hugh Freeze misery this year.
Yeah.
I can promise you that guy can coach. They're gonna go pay $2 million for a quarterback, and they're gonna beat you next year. Whoever you is on their schedule, they're gonna win because they've been awesome on defense, and they may beat Bama this weekend. And Ole Miss is hoping that they do.
Right.
Ole Miss is hoping that, Ole Miss is rooting for Auburn and the Fighting Hugh Freezes. Freezes. He does things the right way.
Oh, my gosh.
I was told that at bars, grills, games, and everywhere else. Freeze does it the right way.
Still the sentiment, baby.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway,
man, what if he does drop him a Thanksgiving gift? Give him a statue.
Oh, look, man, if Hugh Freeze beats Bama,
man,
then Ole Miss is going to have to give him a statue
They have to.
in front of Funky's.
Absolutely.
They have to.
Yeah.
Let me go over this again. I don't know why I haven't written it down. You ready?
Hit me.
Ole Miss needs Miami to beat SMU, South Carolina to beat Clemson, and Bama to lose to Auburn. Miami to beat SMU, South Carolina to beat Clemson, and Auburn to win, or Bama to lose. So that's what you got to have, Rebs, to get on. And look, you've done a hell of a job. Bartu talked about it. You've done an amazing job. Lane pushed you, and you took it. Like, he pushed you to get the deal going and get the collective going. And then you had an alum who is super wealthy and has wanted to win for 50 years. And you've won some, but he rallied the troops. And if you get in, you should name the law school after him. Yeah. And he has a development down 463, and it's really, really nice and a tremendous asset to the state of Mississippi. And we talk about coconuts. So now we're going to find out if Mississippi State wants to win. Now, I want to switch gears real quick. Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game tomorrow, Jackson. We've got Bears at the Lions.
Right.
Bears at the Lions. The Lions always play on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
When I was growing up, they did. Then they got Barry Sanders. I loved Barry Sanders. They never were any good, but he was. Okay?
Same with me and Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, two really good players. Isn't it amazing Matthew Stafford became a really good player once he got out of there?
Yeah.
A dysfunctional franchise like other quarterbacks have right now that are good. And he got out to the L.A. Rams with Sean McVay, and they put some defensive pieces around him. And, yeah, he won a Super Bowl. It's amazing. And they have a full-time GM. So the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game tomorrow is Bears at Lions. You get to see Dan Campbell. We get the Fighting Kneecap Biters drop for me. I want that. Giants at Cowboys. These are two bad football teams. But America will watch.
Oh, yeah.
The ratings will be insane. Cowboys are only 3.5-point favorite. Giants at the Cowboys. I'm wondering what the crowd's going to be like tomorrow. Even though they did beat Washington, do they come back that much? I think it'll be 30% empty. We'll see what Jerry's World looks like. Maybe not. A lot of people travel in.
Still the
and that's
Giants.
kind of their holiday thing. They have family in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and maybe that's their game of the year. Or maybe the outsiders, the people on the outside, bought tickets the last few weeks as ticket prices went down as the Cowboys didn't win. And then tomorrow night, you got Dolphins at the Packers. Ooh. So you got a triple header. I don't know if Blake Scott's going to be okay because he says he has to get 3 servings of Thanksgiving food, and he doesn't want anybody to mess with him. He would get real grouchy when the Egg Bowl was on Thanksgiving. He didn't like it, and he let everybody know. So that's the triple header. Bears at Lions, Giants at Cowboys, talking about a quarterback battle, and Dolphins at Packers. Dolphins may be in for some weather. You know, they're used to South Florida and South Beach, and they got to go up to Green Bay. It's 27 degrees right now at Lambeau.
What?
I mean, the frozen tundra.
That is freezing cold.
Yeah, that wouldn't go well for you. You're not a big cold weather guy.
No. Especially not if I'm going to be outside. There are very few things I like to do in the cold.
Yeah.
And none of them don't include a White Russian. So, yeah, I'm out.
A White Russian. It is White Russian time of year. Big Tito's time. White Russian.
Big time.
Sounds good. You know what? I may have one tonight. We're not doing the show tomorrow or Friday. I can get a little crazy. And
just a little.
Just a little. And make me a White Russian, and I'll have a Rocky Patel ALR, which will be delicious. Spring Street Cigars is coming to Jackson.
Yeah, when's that one open?
May 1.
Oh, great. I'll be able to walk to it.
You will. You live right there.
Right there. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be in the Rogue building or the Rogue clothing store.
Yeah, they don't let me in those kind of places, but maybe they'll let me in the bar.
Luke will let you in. But no, they're going to have a bar. It's going to be cool. John's going to tell us more about it. But Spring Street, Starkville, Oxford, those are beautiful cigar lounges. Hattiesburg's amazing. Meridian's, Kosciuszko, Tupelo. Among others, but they're going to have. It's going to be really, really nice, and something that the metro area has needed. Yeah. That's for sure. All right, do people want me to get back into this coaching search?
Well, that and I don't know if you want to give it to me now or later, but I need the Bounds family Thanksgiving plans. Like what's happening.
Well, so
are the kids coming?
Wilkes
They'll be here.
Is here.
Ah, nice.
He got here yesterday.
Are they all
late in the afternoon?
Are they off the week? Is this fall?
No,
break?
They had classes this week.
Okay,
but a lot of them got canceled.
Sure.
At MSU. Wilkes did have a class yesterday because he came in afterwards.
Oh, he opted. He didn't opt out.
No, he went. I don't know. Look, his mom makes sure that, that happens. So Wilkes came home and I cooked steaks and fries in the oven.
Nice. Wendy
had bought a pumpkin pie.
He
ate 2 huge pieces of pumpkin pie.
Worse.
I don't even know if he weighs $150, and he's way taller than me. 6 feet tall. Ella Hall will be here tomorrow.
Okay.
She's working. She's babysitting for a family up there.
Yeah.
So she's coming home tomorrow morning, and then we'll have Thanksgiving lunch.
So the crew will be in.
Yeah, they'll be there. Yeah, our house. We get used to this thing from they left like August 1st.
Right.
Well, Ella Hall was gone all summer on her internship, right? So she hadn't been here since June 1, except a couple of weekends. But we got used to, neither one of them being there August, September, October, November, and now the tidal wave's coming.
Right.
Yeah. And then they go back for I think 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. Because I think they're out, but we're going to the Saints game on December 15th.
That's right.
And I I'm really looking forward to going to New Orleans over the holidays and seeing all the lights on St. Charles and in the Roosevelt.
Oh yeah,
We're going to eat some great food, and it's going to be. And I don't care who wins the game. I mean, Saints, Commanders. I'm just happy to be there.
it's my birthday. They got to win it.
Is that your
The
birthday?
day before, or they're on the 15th. They play on the 15th.
I think it's December 15th.
I'm 16, so there's always a game right around there.
Okay.
It's usually my birthday game, and they usually win.
Okay. Do they really?
They do usually
Well,
do.
for years they won period because it was
Right.
Breeze and Peyton.
Sure.
They won 10 plus games all the time, sometimes 12, 13.
It's usually an in-division opponent around this time.
Ah.
So they usually catch.
You usually would beat the Falcons
Right.
or the Buccaneers
Bucks.
or the yeah. Yeah, I get it. Derek Carr and Jaden Daniels. So I get to watch that.
Man, and
Friend of ours gave us great
that's
seats.
going to be awesome, though. Jaden welcoming back.
There's going to be a lot of Jaden Daniels jerseys.
There are. Rightfully so.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I know.
Because he's cool.
He is cool.
He's a cool cat.
He's a hell of a player. So, speaking of, our Thanksgiving beer is Golden Road Mango Cart Wheat Ale. It's fabulous. And it's become Jackson's favorite beer, and I don't blame him. And then I kind of didn't understand how good it was. And now I realize it's delicious. So, they made me have one at Martin's yesterday. Martin's in Livingston has Mango Cart on tap. It's fabulous. And it's really, really good beer. They also, the Southern Bev crew told me that if you do a half Mango Cart and a half Kona Big Wave,
Ooh.
which I love. If you've listened to the show, I love Kona Big Wave. Okay. They say if you do half Mango Cart and half Kona Big Wave, that it's a beach bum. And it's an excellent beer. So I've received some feedback on why I said Mississippi State football needs to have the same approach as basketball. What's called taking the gloves off and going and get players. And being in a relentless and ruthless pursuit of players and W's. It's a free. You just got to go get players. And for whatever reason, it's been a pearl clutching program for two. Now Dan was able to overcome it because he's just a freak, and Cheryl was able to overcome it. But other than that, in your 100-year history, no one else has. So I mean, you got to decide if you want to win, and go get some dudes. There's athletes all over the place in this 4-state area. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by the amazing Gyros at Aplos in the Renaissance and Aplos in Highland Village.